I just watched one of the powerful videos by TD Jakes. I'm gonna leave the link below, and I'm gonna just leave the link below so you can get a taste of the just what he touched a little bit on. It's just a response video. You know, when the very thing that incorporates my life, my show, my well-being, my who I am, is love. Love is the very thing that I realize that has the power to change things, that has the power to fulfill things. Love has once you understand and fully comprehend the whole agape of how love is supposed to be, once you become one with yourself to understand the true meaning of love and the definition of love and how it's supposed to be holistically clear, you realize that love was there from the beginning. Love was there from creation, from the moment or very existent. Love was there. Humanity was just the fruits or the evidence of God's love. Humanity came around because God, in his magnificent power and his divine divinity, his omniscience and his omnipresence, realized that he could not, because of his love, let me create something. Let me create something that could define my love. And because of that love, he create man. He create man. And that is why we exist today. That is why I exist today. And because of that love that he made, we failed him. And because we failed him, we in the beginning of how love is supposed to be, in his mind was just a fellowship and a decorum between me and us and God, worshiping and singing praises and manifesting his fruits with him and enjoying his presence in his being in his divinity. It is one where we would be able to express his love. That was his ultimate, that was his plan, that was God's plan for us to be one with him. One in every shape or form. Maybe we were meant to be floated around like angels, but we were meant to be one in his love. And because of his love, he said, you know what? I'm going to make man, and make man first so he could recognize what it is to love. What it is to love without me. Without someone to express what it is without. He made him first so he can be alone, so he can understand, so that man, human, me, a man that was born of a baby, that could as a baby, to understand that when you were created, you were meant to understand that with your loneliness you need a companion. You need a woman. You need something. You need something to fulfill, to understand that love is about sharing. And because God loved us, he had to share it with someone. So we're his fruits. We are connected to him. You see, the power behind understanding what love was is the expression of what he created. So he created us, and we understood as men, being the first creation, that we needed a companion. So we asked him, where is my companion? We looked around at the dogs, the sheep, the goat. They all had their companions. But he asked me, where is your companion? We asked him, where is mine? Where is mine? So he created woman. And his command for woman was not to leave his side. Don't leave his side. And we became one. We became one. By that was the first marriage in heaven, where he became bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh. And then, you know, the scripture says you become one flesh. One flesh. See, that is love. Love is sharing. So God had to realize that we had to share each other's company. We had to be in each other's time, in each other's space, each other's business. That's what love is. To understand the fullness of love. But you see, that was just the beginning. because his idea of what the union he set up between man and woman was not just understanding that he was showing his love to us, but letting know that because he is omniscient and he knows everything, he knew that that was going to be a reflection of his salvation, because somewhere along the line we failed him and we ran. Because we fail, we keep running from God, and because we try to separate ourselves from God because we were ashamed of what we done wrong. And when we do things wrong, we sin and we do things wrong, we run. Our natural reaction is to run, to separate, to be far from. Even when your husband do something to a wife, they want to separate. They want to do wrong. They want to run. I can't put up with you no more because you hurt me so bad. But that is just not what love is all about. Love is about forgiveness. You see, to understand the ultimate true love, from that passage of time, God's been writing examples of how he wants us to be a reflection of what God divinity was, when he wants us to be one with him. So he had the agape form, where it's God at the top, man and woman. But because we failed, he kept writing and saying, listen, I love you anyway. I've given you a woman. I've given you a companion that we can be together, so we can share his divinity and his power and his gift of love. We were just the evidence of his love. Humanity, creation, he created for us. That was an expression of his love. But he didn't, those animals couldn't worship like we can, give adoration to him like we can. He didn't stop there because we separated ourselves from him. And through the passage of time, he said, because the wages of sin is death, where we failed him. Death separated us. But the devil thought that he had the key when we failed. But you see, God said, I'm going to write you a few letters to bring you back to my divinity, to bring you back to become one with me. And through the passage of time, from the beginning, he'd been writing letters of Elisha. He'd been writing examples of Jacob. He'd been writing letters of Esau. He'd been writing letters of Moses. He'd been writing letters of, through the passage of time, he'd been writing letters trying to bring us back, help us to bridge the gap between man and God's divinity. And as he tries to bridge the gap, he says, look, I am writing you letters, but you just somehow not ready for what I'm about to send to you and what I want you to be with me. Because eternal life is a gift, a free gift that he wants me and you to accept. And that is to accept that you are meant to be together. All the slaying of lambs like they used to do, shedding of blood by the remission of sin is a shedding of blood. We didn't understand that this was just love letters, forming and bridging the gap through the passage of time of the ultimate love letter that he wanted to send for you and for me. And when he sent this letter, he said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh. You see, Jesus was the fulfillment, or the ultimate fulfillment of his love. So he sent him so he can bridge the gap, so that you and I can see the sacrifice he had to make to show his love again, so he can bring us back to his perfect love, to his understanding what love should be like. So when TG talked about he pierced him in his side and on the letter was open, that was just the beginning. That was just him trying to finish, put an end to all the letters he's been writing so that no more letters could be written, but be written with that ultimate sacrifice that he had to send his son. But throughout our whole lives, throughout our day, from the day you were born and I was born, he's been writing love letters to us. He's been writing love letters through our parents. He's been writing love letters through our teachers. He's been writing letters to our friends, trying to bridge the gap, trying to bring us back to his perfect divinity, becoming one. He's left examples throughout the world from keeping. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. That was just in love. Don't do it if you don't love me. Don't do it. Leave it alone. He said, listen, that's why he said, that is the greatest commandment I give unto you, that you love one another, because that was the biggest. That is the biggest. The only way we can understand or be able to accept the message of his love, of his salvation. Now, the beauty of it is that he left something that can connect us back to who he really is. His marriage. That is his perfect love. That is, if you do it the right way, if you connect with the woman, man connecting with woman, and having God at the top, striking the balance, we will have that connection that would allow us to bridge the gap, to become one. You know, when you have intimacy with a woman, you become one. But not just become one in the flesh, spiritually. So mentally your minds will come together, and his blessing, when you take her up the altar and say I do, he would add that to it, which allows it to become a gift of his love. A gift of marriage is God's love for us. That is why we are meant to get married. We are supposed to find a woman, find a man that would love us, that would incorporate us so that we can be a reflection of his gift that God has won for us. See, once we understand his love, we can love each other, love our spouses, love our husbands, love our wives unconditionally. So, I say to you, and I say to you today, God's love letter was made when he sent Jesus. Ultimate love letter was made when he sent Jesus to us. That was his ultimate love letter. But throughout your life and my life, he's been writing love letters, pulling us, asking us to bridge the gap with God and man. Asking you, asking me. That is why we have wives. And your wife should be able to bridge the gap, because the two of you have become so one. One in worship, one in mind, one in body, allowing yourself to become a part of God's plan of salvation, which is love. Because of love, he sent his son. Because of love, he created you to have one woman, have one flesh. So, this is his ultimate love letter to you, that he will bless you. He will bless us with a wife, with a companion, that we can live together in harmony. So don't run through to divorce. Don't run to separation because you've hurt each other. Don't run because you've argued with each other. But fall into his agape of love and understand that his gift of relationship, gift of marriage, his ultimate gift of one of his other love letters. It's your boy Dr. J.